Returnal is many things. It's a fast-paced, beautiful, interesting sci-fi / alien world. It is awesome, but it's also incredibly difficult, especially when you're starting off. So it's quite easy to lose hope. That's why in this video, I'll be putting together 10 tips and tricks I wish I knew when I started playing Returnal. So let's get to it. So the first tip is a little bit counterintuitive. As you go from room to room and you're losing health, it's going to be very tempting to pick up health as you go along. You don't want to do this. You want to clear room to room to room, and you want to leave the health lying on the floor. And once you clear the entire level, then you can backtrack and you can pick up all those healths. Because the reason I'm saying this is if you pick up health and then you get shot, you're losing health. So that health is going nowhere. Whereas if you clear all the rooms and then backtrack and pick up all the health, you're going to be boosting your integrity or your health bar as much as you can. It takes a while getting used to this, but once you get good enough to clear rooms and then go back and then pick up the health, your integrity bar will get so much bigger. So the second tip kind of ties into the first tip. Whenever you kill enemies, shoot plants, or collect clusters of obolites, do not, no matter how tempting it is, do not spend those obolites. Collect obolites until you got well over 400, even 500. And then once you get to the fabricator room, don't fabricate something random. On the far right hand side, there's an augmented stat, 25% extra integrity. Go and fabricate that, and that's going to boost your health bar by 25%. Once you've done that, then backtrack to all the other rooms and pick up the health. Your health bar is going to see a significant boost. Tip number 3, there are a whole bunch of different weapons you can use in Returnal, but the one that I think is absolutely head and shoulders above the other ones in terms of OP-ness, that sounds funny, is the tachyometer carbine. So obviously you can pick up different versions of the carbine, but if you play with it long enough, you're going to be building up different traits. And the absolute best trait is the rising pitch mixed with the leech. Because the leeching effect, as you shoot enemies, you're actually gaining back health. So it's a super powerful gun, and coupled with the rising pitch, it shoots bullets hella hard and hella quick. So if you want a tip on the best gun, stick with the carbine. Tip number 4 is about the rare substance called ether. When you do find it, and initially when you first start playing, ether is very hard to come by. I highly recommend that you bank it, and every time you start a new cycle, just create a new artifact. Don't use ether for cleansing or anything other than just creating new artifacts at the beginning of every cycle. As you progress through the game, you start finding more and more ether. Tip number 5 is to keep on opening up chests until you find the Atropian blade, because if you don't have the Atropian blade, you're not going to be able to combat enemies with that red force field around them. So once you find the Atropian blade, you can rush up to enemies with that red force field and cream them in one blow. And also the nice thing is, unless you're fighting a boss, normally the Atropian blade is going to one-shot any enemy in the game. Right, and then the next tip, once you purchase the 25% extra life augment, what you want to do is, once you got 250 obolites, you want to go back to the fabricator, and you want to purchase the astronaut or the astronaut trinket. The reason is, as soon as you die, and it's going to happen, as soon as you die, you're going to respawn in that same area, your cycle's not going to be over, and you're going to be able to build on your cycle just before you die. So the astronaut is OP. Tip number 7 and tip number 8 can be found in the settings menu under gameplay. What you're going to do is you're going to toggle always run for tip number 7, because in Returnal, speed is of the essence, because you're going to be dodging bullets, you're going to be running away from enemies, so you can't jog and then toggle run, you might as well just run the whole time. It's going to make your gameplay a lot easier. In the same vein, you're going to toggle auto aim, because unless you're using the alt fire and you're aiming down sights, you're going to be wasting time aiming down sights at random enemies. So you're going to toggle auto aim, you're going to put it on high. It's just going to help you so much more to hit enemies and clear rooms without a sweat. Yet again, on the Tropian Blade, when you're fighting enemies that are like mini bosses, I'd recommend rushing them, hitting them once with a Tropian Blade, and then once they are stunned, you can easily shoot them wherever their weak spot is. So practically you only need to hit them once with a Tropian Blade, they're going to be stunned, and then just shoot them on the weak spot, and you're going to be able to deal with mini bosses super easy. I really love the Tropian Blade. Right, and that brings us to our last tip, and this one's going to seem a little bit crazy, but don't worry about your stats and do not worry about dying. You're going to be doing a lot of it in Returnal. So whenever there's a big group of enemies, I recommend tackling them head on. Even if you get hit, even if you die, get used to moving quickly, get used to how to attack certain enemies and how to avoid other enemies, because obviously at the end of the day you want to build muscle memory. So throw yourself into the game, don't avoid contact, go and smash as many enemies, because as the game progresses you're gonna think you get good until you hit level 4, and then it's gonna whip your ass. So you want to get as familiar as possible with fighting multiple enemies all at once. So just throw yourself into the combat. And lastly, my bonus tip: prepare to become addicted to this game. No, just kidding. Anyways, Returnal was an awesome game, so I hope these tips and tricks helped. Other than that, guys, if you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. If you haven't subbed to the channel just yet, be sure to smash that subscribe button. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.